Good if I hit the right buttons. Hello, everybody. Thank you for hanging out with me today. Hi, my name's Mark. I do some stuff. What do? I do some open source game development stuff, particularly on the infrastructure side. I work for Google Cloud doing open source for games. It's a quiet time of year. Everyone else is pretty much taking holidays, which is nice. So I thought I would take advantage of the situation and work on something that I've been thinking about for like a year now. And the timing is actually, I think, pretty good too. So we're going to have some fun today. We're going to talk about proxies and game servers and a thing called Envoy, which I've never touched before. So we'll see what happens. Cool. Let's pop over here. So this is the open source project I want to talk about today. Envoy is an open source edge and service proxy designed for cloud native applications. Like, cool, good for you. Envoy's pretty neat. It is a proxy, right? So basically, its job is to take information going from one place, proxy it, and then send it to another, right? Like, so basically intercept it and do stuff to it. It's kind of neat. So basically, it was originally written for things like, where are we? Things like, we'll grab that version, things like HTTP, gRPC, basically like being able to intercept that traffic, do things like, say, like observe it, see how much data is going through, maybe intercept it, maybe do like, I'm going to bet that they probably do stuff like SSL endpoints, like putting automatic SSL endpoints in front of stuff, all that kind of stuff. There's a lot of really interesting use cases you can use Envoy for. Now, what's super cool, it makes me very excited. If I go back into the docs, actually, if we look at the latest docs, the cool thing is now, where are we? No, it's not there. Configuration reference, versions administration. No, where is it? Chain observability, other features, other protocols? No. Where did it go? There is UDP support in here. Where did it go? Oh my god, this is gonna kill me. Where are we? Installation, configuration reference, listeners. Here we go. Okay, cool. Okay, now we can do like so UDP stuff, right? So this is today's, right? Like this is configuration reference, and we're looking at listeners, right? No UDP. Sad. This version, now we have this UDP stuff. So in the daily version of this, we can now do UDP stuff. For those who may not be familiar with dedicated game servers for like big multiplayer games, usually that just sends a whole bunch of UDP traffic around. But now we have UDP proxies. Now this presents some really interesting things you can do with game servers. I don't know if I'm going to touch too much on them right now, but think of things like security, right? Like making sure the traffic should go through and being able to pull that out of like the game server itself, and just being like, oh, cool, this is somebody who should be connecting this game server. Okay, cool, that goes through. Or maybe you're doing some certification or some sort of like security crypto type stuff. We can pull that out, run that in the Envoy. There's also some interesting like DDoS applications you could do too, because Envoy can handle what like something like 1,000 connections, I believe, from what I read just previously, per machine, right? Like per instance of it. And so like you could have just a few Envoy proxies. Say one of them gets DDoSed. That means you can spread the load that everyone's sending through a variety of proxies. You could be like, take that proxy, move it off somewhere else, let that get DDoSed, and like people can go nuts on it, but it doesn't actually interrupt your player flow. You could do a lot of really cool stuff. As soon as you take away being able to access the game server directly, you can start doing some really neat things behind the scenes. It's super cool. But today, really what I want to do is just like look at Envoy. I've never touched Envoy before. It's used in a variety of projects, if anyone's familiar with like, things like Istio, and I think Linkerd is either using it, or anyway, it doesn't matter. Their whole like service mesh stuff I don't want to talk about today. That's fine. But basically what I want to do is like, let's try and get started with Envoy, like get some bits and pieces going with it. I've never touched it before. I have no idea how to use it. So this should be really fun. And then maybe try and see if we can do some simple UDP stuff with like the daily version part of it. So when we click get started, I like getting started experiences. Okay, so apparently we're starting with the 1.3.0 dev version. Maybe we don't start with that. That seems like bad design in terms of their onboarding experience. I want to start with the stable version. So let's do that. That seems like a much safer thing to do. Okay, so about the documentation, cool. Introduction, architecture review has been deployed, cool. Getting started, installation, okay. Let's look at introduction. That seems reasonable. Okay, that doesn't help. Okay, so what is Envoy? Okay, Envoy is an L7 proxy and communication bus. Okay, so L7 for memory is... I can never remember all the L's. Nope. L7 proxy. Like the L7 layer. Here we go, thank you. I think L4 is TCP/IP. Authoros, thank you very much. You said you can't stay. Thank you for hanging out. I appreciate it. Recursive codes. You are not hearing my audio. My audio says that my audio is working. Can anyone else not hear my audio? Would be nice if I can hear if somebody cannot hear my audio. Thank you for letting me know if you can't hear my audio. Well, I'll keep going just in case. So I can never remember what an L4 for okay, so L4 is TCP UDP. Awesome. L7 is application layer, so like HTTP layer. Okay, that makes sense. And then there's like other stuff in here that I've never actually looked at. They're just fancy ways of saying things, which is nice. Cool. Yay, you can hear it in the Pilot Player. Yay. All right. Or yay, if I can actually type in chat. All right, so recursive codes can hear me. Excellent. All right, sweet. So Envoy is an L7 proxy, which is interesting that they say that because they do straight TCP stuff as well. But anyway, that's fine. Out of process architecture, neat, good for you. Okay. It does L3 and L4. Okay, so it does do an L3, L4, so like TCP, and well, now we see UDP as well. And they support all kinds of interesting stuff, like HTTP routing, MongoDB. Oh, that's interesting they do routing. Anyway, I'll come back to that. They support things like MongoDB and DynamoDB and like health checking. Oh, cool. Yep. Advanced load balancing. That sounds interesting. So lots of really neat stuff. Cool. Awesome. I like it so far. Oh my god. Okay, so there's a bunch of stuff this thing does. Let's have a look and see. All right, terminology. I like this. This is excellent. Okay, a few definitions. Let's see what fun things we can find out. Okay. All right, so we have a host. Makes sense. Downstream is the thing that connects. Excellent. Upstream is the thing that sends. Sweet. A listener is a named network location that can be connected to by downstream clients. Okay, that makes sense, right? We were talking, I saw just before, we were talking about a UDP listener. So a UDP listener is the thing that basically opens up, I'm guessing like opens up the UDP port, allows traffic to come in and out. Sweet. A cluster is a group of logically similar upstream hosts that Envoy connects to. Okay, so upstream host is people that sends an entity compatible network communication. So this is like the stuff. Okay, so like cluster is a Envoy discovery members of the cluster by service discovery. It optionally determines the health of the cluster members by active health checking. Okay, so the stuff that it's sending stuff to is the stuff that it's sending to is the cluster, and there's active health checking. Recursive code is like where it happened to my accent. When I talk about work, my American accent kicks in. I can say my name's Mark and I'm from Australia if you like. If you want me to talk more with an Australian accent, I can do that if that makes you happy. I'm very happy to do that. I should probably pop out chat. It'd be actually kind of fun. Try saying the word cache. Yeah, I say cache. I don't say cache, I say cache. These are old friends who are hanging out on chat. Cool. So, all right. So they were moving down the line. Mesh, a group of hosts that coordinate to provide consistent network topology. So like an Envoy mesh is a group of envoys. Sweet. I can handle that. That makes sense. That's the thing we want to do. And a runtime configuration, out-of-band real-time configuration system deployed along Envoy. Interesting. Okay. So in theory, we can change... we can change the configuration for Envoy at runtime, it sounds like. That also sounds really cool. Threading, I don't really care as long as it works. Cool. Listeners, all right. There's some stuff to look at. Envoy configuration supports any number of listeners. Sweet. Generally recommends running a single Envoy per machine. Interesting. Okay, that makes sense. Currently, Envoy only supports TCP listeners. We know that's not true right now, but we're looking at the stable documentation, so that's all right. So the daily has UDP. Each listener is independently configured with some number of filter chains. Okay. Where an individual chain is selected based on its match criteria. Okay, cool. All right, so I'm guessing we can intercept data coming through and then like do something to it. That would be really neat. An individual filter chain is composed of one or more network levels filters. Okay, so depending on what layer of the TCP or UDP or the UDP stack or the network stack, we want stuff to happen. That sounds cool too. The new connection is received, appropriate chain is selected. Cool. All right, depending on what it is. And we have a bunch called like rate limiting and HTTP connection. Ooh, rate limiting, nice. That's really cool. So we can actually do really cool stuff there. Actually, that's super easy. Where like we know that like, oh yeah, actually that's super sweet. So like I'm just thinking about this out loud. Game servers, usually we have a tick rate, right? We know that data is only going to be sent at a certain time frame. So we could put easy thing to do, right? For like DDoS protection or something like that, we could just say something like, hey, like we know that this game runs at 60 FPS or is only going to send data at 60 FPS or 30 FPS. So if we're getting data at more than 30 FPS, like that's a problem. So like scale that back. Start dropping connections, just like dump it. Like we don't care. That doesn't need to go back to the game servers. We're not going to overload game servers. That's actually super handy. Just like right out of the box. That's sweet. That's actually really, really cool. Listeners are also optionally configured with some sort of listener filters. Okay, so each listener is configured filter chains. These filters are processed before the network level filters and have the opportunity to manipulate the connection metadata. Oh, I see. Okay, so filter chains, it sounds like... okay, so filter chains maybe don't manipulate things, like they can't change stuff, but listener filters can. We'll have a look. So listener filters. Okay, let's have a look at that. There we go. Listener section. Listener may be used to manipulate the connection metadata. The main purpose of listener filters is to make adding further system integrations function easier by not making current changes. Okay. API for listener filters is really simple. Ultimately, these filters operate on newly accepted sockets. Can stop and subsequently continue iteration to further filter. This allows more complex areas such as rate limiting service, which is what we're talking about. Apparently, that's a thing that we can do. Several listener filters. All right, cool. All right, so that's all fine. All right, there's a bunch of stuff here. Oh my god, I don't know if I want to dig into every single little part of this because I think it's just gonna get like boring. Oh my god, and there's a whole Envoy's cluster manager manages all configured upstream clusters. Okay, I think we're not going to worry too much about some of this. There's all sorts of fun stuff in here. Observability, so we can look through stuff. Security, what do we got in here? So we can do TLS type stuff, which is awesome. And like, oh, there's really cool stuff like JWT tokens, all sorts of neat things. Cool. I'm not going to dig into that. All right, operations and configuration. Yes. Okay, here we go. What the hell? Okay, cool. Envoy's architect. All right, so how do we configure this thing? Different types of configuration management options are possible. The approach taken in deployment will be dependent on the needs of the implementer. Simple deployments are possible with full static configuration, which I think is what we'll start with. Probably, I'm guessing there's a file of some sort. Filerzoid. Okay, basically, this has just become everyone I used to know in the Adobe Tech community. Cool. Let's moving on. So, all right. So there are discovery services. All right. Full static configuration. The implementer provides a set of listeners and filter chains to make place hot restart, which we okay. Using static configurations and hot restarts. Okay, there's a hot restart. Fancy. Ease of operation is with. Okay, interesting. How do you fire a hot restart? I don't know. That's fine. EDS API provides a more advanced mechanism, can discover members upstream cluster, layer, blah, 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 blah. Cluster discovery service API, RDS. Okay, there's all this stuff. I'm not even going to worry about it. There's a Delta gRPC. Okay, so you can also find out, like, you can do stuff. Okay, that's cool. We're going to start with, like, hot restart and stuff. I think that's just easier. Other features, blah, blah, blah. Global rate limiting. That's actually really cool. I just want to see what that is. Times not effective and global rate limit. Legendary hosts. Cool. All right, I'm not going to worry about that right now. Other protocols. Stuff I don't care about right now. But very cool that it does it. Very, very handy. Service to service only. Yada, yada, yada. Getting help. Oh, that's a good point. Convoy. All right. How do I... What's your contact info? Oh, I probably went to the wrong place. Okay, so there's mailing list, general user discussions, Twitter, Slack. There's a Slack. Awesome. All right. I always appreciate a good Slack. Okay. Let's try and get something happening. I think that's the fun thing, right? Let's get started with a very simple configuration, provide some example configurations, pre-built install binaries. I would like to get started with a Docker image. Yes, that is exactly what I want. All right. These instructions. Run files in the Envoy. Very minimal Envoy configuration we use to validate plain HTTP proxy available in configs google.com. What are we looking at? Oh, so we have a simple YAML file. Okay, so take it with the static configuration that we have. YAML file. Not surprising, cloud native, quote unquote. We're doing YAML. That just seems to make the most sense, right? Okay, so we have an admin access. What are we taking in? We have a socket. I have no idea what this does. I'm just trying to work it out in retrospect. We have a listener that takes port value something. HTTP connection manager with some sort of crazy connection thing. And then we are rewriting. You can even do rewrites with this? Oh my god, this does a lot of cool stuff. All right. And then Robin to something. So basically we're rewriting it to Google. I'm sure Google appreciates that. Sweet. But yeah, actually I want this. So let's start with grabbing that. Yeah, I've got a little thing here. So let's pull down this image. I was looking at this before. I think it's only about 50 megabytes, so it should come down pretty quick. Yep, beautiful. Which is awesome. Like, that's so great. That I love Docker development experiences. That makes me super happy. So, all right. So I run this. And then, okay, so that's running in the background, I'm going to assume. Oops. Okay, I can shut that down. I can Docker stop Sagiri. We don't need that. Okay, cool. All right, so we have Envoy proxy running in the background, and then apparently if we just curl -v this, what happens? Whoa, what happens? Okay, stuff. So where are we? Localhost. Let's pop that big. Okay. Bunch of stuff comes through, and then it looks like Google. We get Google. So that's interesting. And a basic Envoy configuration. Okay, so Envoy, I guess, starts up with it pointing to proxy in Google. Cool. I guess that's fine. Nothing wrong with that. That's a thing. Sounds good. Let's see what's going on here. All right, so the basic configurable Envoy to incoming all requests to start at google.com. I'm sure that makes Google very happy. Since noting that Google is involved in the project, I'm sure that was fine, and it's whatever. Okay, Envoy can be configured using a single YAML file passed as an argument on the command line. I don't know if I need to stop this. So, you know what, Docker PS, Docker, stop. Yeah, let's just get rid of that. Let's do that thing. Okay. The admin message is required to configure the admin message. What does that even mean? Admin, administration interface, operations documentation. Okay, so what? The admin message is required to configure the administration server. The address key specifies the listening address, which can be simply 000, so binding to basically everything in 9001. Okay. So admin, okay, hold on, let's look at that again. Admin address, core dot address, TC address. Okay. Well, Envoy, if not specified, Envoy will not start an administrative server. Right. So is this the thing that we connect to, or is this the thing that... I'm guessing this is like the admin API that we were seeing before, maybe that gRPC or that Delta thing. I don't know. I'm actually not sure. Could be anything. So let's maybe keep going. I'm just noticing here we're not curling that port, which is here. Yeah, see here we have the address. It's not that one. We're curling this one. So maybe we're doing something else there. Okay, cool. So I'm just going to assume that that's probably like the admin API. So the API that lets us administrate Envoy. Could be wrong, but that's what I'm thinking so far. The specification of listeners. All right, so here we have listeners, which is named listener 0. Right, this is the port, right? So socket address. Cool. We can have a quick look at that. Listener has a name, which is required. Config, which is a struct. Do we use a regular config or a typed config? Doesn't say. Config, struct. Oh, that's just a protobuf. Okay, that doesn't help either. All right, this is useful. Config. Only one of config or typed config can be set, except for the fact it says name config. Oh, here. Okay, so listener has... Oh, we're in listener filter. Okay. All right, so we're in... Not what I thought we were. Okay, listener is... Okay, so listener, here we go. Filter chains. Filter chains is here, which is where we end up here. Now we can have filters, right? So here is our set of filters. List your individual network filters. Cool. All right. Cool. We're getting there. Now we can have either that or a typed config. All right. Now we want a typed config, which is of type any, right? So it can just be anything. Sweet. That narrows it down. All right. Typed config. So it looks something like this. Right. How do we know what our configs are? So let's say we are at HTTP, right? And we're doing some sort of connection manager. And then we do stuff. All right. When in doubt, copy, paste, splat. What? No, not HTTP, just boop. Envoy.yaml. That's just telling me overviews. Let's try just searching for stuff. Here we go. This is the latest, but just give me the bit at the end. Oh, here we go. HTTP connection manager. So let me, what page am I on? Network filters. Okay, so I'm in, I just want to see if I can work out. Okay, so API v2 API reference. So I'm in API v2 API reference. Network filters. Nope. See if I can work out how to get here. Okay, extensions. Here we go, extensions. Nope. Extensions. Network filters. HTTP connection managers. Okay, and then it gives me all the stuff in here. Wow. Okay, so this is not simple, I think is basically the takeaway that I've got so far. Codec type, root config. Okay, all kinds of funky stuff. All right, but we're doing reroutes to here. Whew. Yeah, Envoy, clearly not simple. Okay, so we're using this HTTP connection manager. Oh, actually, let's tell you what is an HTTP connection manager. Does not say. Good for you. I mean, I'm guessing it does HTTP connection managing. Like I know what all this is. Codec connection manager, human readable prefix when using managed statistics. Okay, so that's for statistics. I don't care about stats right now. Should be filters, all kinds of other stuff. But it doesn't actually say what it does. That seems kind of bad. In theory, if I look up a HTTP connection manager for giggles, like what does that mean to anybody? Connection purpose. Okay, here we go. Oh, apparently this is just a thing that people know about. Purpose of an HTTP connection manager is to serve as a factory for new HTTP connections to manage the lifecycle of persistent connections and to synchronize access to persistent connections, making sure that only one thread work with instances of. All right. Yay for assumed knowledge. Okay, cool. There's an HTTP connection manager. All right, so stat prefix. Okay, don't care about that. All right, anything that has the word stat in it, I'm not going to care about. Root config, name, virtual hosts, domain star. Okay, I'm guessing that's where it takes stuff from, and then we're just going to match any /root to send it to Google. Cluster service Google. All right. Okay. So, okay, cool. All right. So I think I'm getting my handle on this. So I've got an HTTP connection manager. This is how I'm handling my HTTP connections. Sweet. Configuring codec type. Beautiful. Virtual hosts. Yada yada yada. Basically, I'm accepting anything that has /. What is virtual hosts? That is a good question. Let me see. Where are we? Oh, good. It's not in here as a thing. Oh, no. Root config. It's under root config. Yeah, there we go. Root config. Takes a root configuration. Beautiful. Love that. Root configuration virtual host. Array of virtual hosts that make up a table. That's not useful. Okay. The top level element in the routing configuration is a virtual host. Each virtual host has a logical name as well as a set of domains that get routed to it based on incoming requests. Okay. All right, sweet. So, okay, I got you. So we're basically saying, like, what can come in and what can go out. Recursive codes. Assumed knowledge in docs is the devil. Yes, it very much is. That is why I'm being snarky about these things. Okay, so virtual host is basically saying, okay, actually, you know what? I've seen things like virtual host in Apache configurations. And I have a feeling that as we go through this more, there is going to be me going to look at Apache docs so that I can work out what Envoy HTTP stuff is doing. But I don't actually care about the HTTP stuff too much. I just want to get a basic understanding of how this thing works. And we'll see how it goes. Okay, but yeah, okay, so it's basically saying, okay, so where would I accept connections from? I would accept connections from anywhere. Sweet. And then here I'm doing my roast rewrites. Now this is fun. So this is saying cluster, right? Like I'm going to host rewrite to google.com, and then I'm sending it to this cluster. This is interesting. This is actually kind of interesting because I'm like, why can't I just send it to google.com? But I guess we saw earlier where they were talking about clusters as being like the end, I guess the receiving end of what the traffic has come into, the proxy is going back out. Like they need to do some kind of health checking to make sure it's there and that kind of stuff. So I'm guessing we need that. So I just want to see. So here, routes. Once we end up in virtual hosts, we end up in a route. And then we end up here, routes. Routes, perfect. Okay, where does that take me to? Routes.route, cool. Take and then an individual route, yep. So we have a match, takes me to a route match. Oh, no, and then the match takes me to a route. Or have I just gone around in a circle? No, a route, and then we have, oh. Yeah, that's right, cluster. And where's my host rewrite? This is not in alphabetical order, which makes it really hard to look through. Why is this not in alphabetical order? All right, This is in alphabetical order. Okay, that's something at least. Recursive codes, a YAML representation of Apache HTTP config. Yeah, kind of. Or at least just the same terminology. I don't like. You're like, oh, I don't mind it. I think like just looking at this from here, like meeting developers where they are, and if they're using certain terms for these sort of things already, like a certain vocabulary, then I don't think that's unreasonable. So like it's fine. Like I don't mind it. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, so like I get it. Like and the Apache configuration was never like the most easy thing to work through, but this is not terrible. It's just like you have a type thing, so. Anyway, so what I wanted to see, actually more anything, a string indicating the upstream cluster which the request will be routed to, precisely one of cluster. Okay, so this is required. That's the thing I actually wanted to look at, which is, okay, so there has to be a cluster. And so the cluster is like where this stuff is going to go to. Now, host rewrite, I actually do want to just because I'm curious, indicates that during forwarding, the host header will be swapped with this value. Fancy. Okay. This is like HTTP rewriting stuff. Whatevs. I missed this here. HTTP filters name Envoy router. Okay, apparently there's probably some more in that. Let's have a look. Nope. It's just an HTTP filter called envoy.router. What is that, and where did that come from? We're under typed config. Yes, connection manager. All right, so let's go. How do I get back up? HTTP route management. Guessing it's HTTP filter. Nope. All right, we're just gonna go back to where I started. Extensions with listeners. Nope. Yeah, see, this is not the easiest to get around. Here we go. We're in HTTP connection manager. Here we go. Okay, cool. All right, so we ended up in HTTP filters. Yeah, actually, that's exactly what we want. HTTP filters. Just that there. So here we go. HTTP filters, which is also not alphabetically sorted. Oh my god. A list of individual HTTP filters that make up the filter chain for requests. Order matters is fairly cool. String required. Name of a filter instantiate must be the name of a supported filter. Okay, what's a supported filter? Where did this name come from? I don't know. Envoy.router. I don't want to do anything, really. Let's have a look. Envoy.router. Did you ever see HTTP header manipulation? Wow, that does not help anything. Oops. Router basics. All right, so we're into here. Envoy.router. Yup. Also, where did this page come from? No idea. /learn. Huh. Never seen that before. Okay, that's fun. So this does a thing. We don't know what. Julie Evans wrote a thing about Envoy. That's freaking cool. Which is literally going through exactly what we're going through. Oh, that's really cool. Okay, the most important is Envoy router, which routes requests to the right backend. In our example, we've configured. How did you learn that? Notice the server explains the Envoy router filter what to do with the requests. Okay. HTTP filters envoy.router. I guess. Let's. I've gone too far down the rabbit hole at this point. I want to see if I can work this out, because that feels like something that is fundamental to this. And I just want to understand what this is doing. This feels very, very fundamental. No, not extending. I want API, lessons, extensions, network filters, connection manager. Was it route config? Was it? No, HTTP filters. HTTP filters. Okay, so HTTP filters, blah, blah, blah. It's a list of individual HTTP filters that make up the filter chain for requests made to the connection manager. So as requests come in, or as get processed, the HTTP filter, okay, order matters, blah, blah, blah. So you're an HTTP filter, name config, type config. Okay, composition filter specification. Okay, yep. That's fine, don't care, don't care. Supported filter. And then we end up in this page with just a huge amount of stuff. But like, all right, let's just pick one. What do we? Ooh, there's a Lua thing. Ooh, that just got me excited. But with access control, HTTP headers. Okay, maybe this is a thing. Let's have a look at this. So the router filter implements HTTP forwarding. Oh, this actually sounds like HTTP filters router. Is that just its name? Like if I look up, like, I don't know, squash. Oh, I guess it's just envoy.router. I mean, that doesn't seem clear, but at least the router implements and it should be forwarding. Okay, which is exactly what we're doing. So that seems to actually make sense. Okay, so I'm guessing then the name here would be right something. That's just not clear. How do I know what the name of a filter is? Like the Envoy metadata to, like, what? Okay, filter should be configured with Envoy filters. Okay, so at least it says it there. There should be filter envoy.router. Okay, cool. All right, cool. Squash is, I'm guessing, just squash. Rate limit is envoy.rate limit. Okay. The name's there. Okay, all right. So we managed to find it magically. Oh my god, router implementation forwarding. Oh my god, this makes my head hurt. I don't know how y'all are doing. Hopefully you're all following. I'm not even starting the UDP stuff. I'm just trying to get a handle on what's happening with the HTTP stuff. All right, specification of the clusters. Okay. Whew. Man. Oy. All right. All right, clusters. Oh, I don't care about that. Okay, so we have a cluster named Service Google, which matches this here. All right. So that's cool. All right, sweet. I can make that work. Totally okay with that. And all right, that's all fine. And then what do we do? So load balance policy ramp all run. Okay, load assignments. Okay, so basically we're saying, like, where do we send this stuff to? Load balanced endpoints. We only really have one of them, 443. Okay, so it's like the TLS one. Transport sockets TLS. That makes sense. Upstream TLS context. SNI. Okay, I'm guessing that's like for the SSL start configuration stuff. Okay, that at least at like initial viewing makes sense, and I'm sure we could go and look that up. That's fine. All right, so I'm not going to worry about it too much. Cool. And in here, this is just saying, like, copying the Envoy YAML and then like tweaking it to do stuff, and then building it and running it. Okay, you know what? I'm okay with that. It doesn't seem unreasonable. How do I? Okay, so here's my Envoy file, which is etc. envoy.yaml. Cool beans. That seems like I'm guessing then that's where. Yeah, here we go. You can confer to the command line options. That's actually exactly what I wanted. Envoy is driven by JSON configurations. It also seems like it's configured by YAML, but whatevs. So let's set a command line options, config YAML. Oh, config YAML. Okay, optional YAML string for v2 bootstrapped. Okay, so v2 is YAML. All right, sweet. It's also set the values in the YAML string will override and merge. Config path is also set, so you can have a variety. It sounds like config path, the path to proto configuration file. Missing config YAML is required. This will be parsed as v2. Wait, where do you go? Configuration file, valid extensions, JSON, YAML, Okay, so it comes with a standard etc. one, and then that's cool. So Envoy just C config path YAML config YAML node. Oh, it's a YAML string. You can pass in a YAML string. Got it. That helps if I read. So we can path it. Can you pass in multiple paths? No, it's just a single file. Okay, which is fine. Like I'm okay with that. Admin address path, local IP, blah, 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 and all sorts of other fun things that I'm just not going to deal with right now. And version. Okay, so actually out of curiosity's sake, so if I just do a docker run.rm envoy proxy, and I just do like version, so you can all let me do that. Okay, sweet, so I can actually see stuff. Awesome, so I can run stuff. I could probably write a YAML that's local, and then we can start like mounting it in and doing some other fun things. Okay, all right, cool. Whew. I do want to know what this administration interface does. Okay, Envoy specific administration, you use to query and modify different aspects. Okay, so the admin interface was exactly what I was thinking. That is sweet. Is an HTTP interface? Is there a gRPC interface as well? Apparently not. I thought there was I thought they said there was a gRPC interface. V2 API reference, blah blah blah. Yeah. Current network, gRPC. Yeah. I'll worry about that later. Not gonna worry about that now. Not the thing I care about. There are a bunch of sandboxes. Ooh, cool. For like, I'm guessing these are just like. I'm like really excited about this. I did not know Envoy had a Lua filter. See you later. Recursive Codes. He says, okay, Mark, I gotta run. Happy holidays, friend. Hope to see you at JIDS in Australia next year. I don't know what that is. But I hope to see you there too. That would be great. That's October. That's way later this year. But Recursive Code, thanks for hanging out. Glad. Good to see you too. Always a pleasure to run into you at various events. Okay. I lost track of time. I lost track of what I was saying. We can use a Lua filter. 2 functions that like does stuff. Ooh, that gets me excited. There's all sorts of neat stuff we could do here, but like I'm not gonna worry about that. Okay, so for my next magic trick, developer summit in Australia. Oh, cool. If I go to Australia, Recursive Codes, it'll probably be for game stuff though, unfortunately. So we may not run into each other, which would be sad. So, but give it my best shot. See what happens. He's saying that I should come for this. Yeah, this seems cool, but I usually do game stuff these days. Anyway, back to the topic at hand. Okay, so there's a bunch of these things called sandboxes, which are like show how a Lua filter can be used with the Envoy proxy, and you can grab it and do stuff with it. Cool. If we actually, can you just show me? There are Lua filters. Oh my god. This is actually really cool. I'll tell you why this is really cool. I was thinking about writing a proxy for doing game server traffic, and one of the things I was thinking about doing was being able to have Lua filters. And the fact that Envoy already supports this is fantastic. I am exceedingly excited about this. Okay, so Envoy has like everything that I want for doing game server stuff. Just want to have a quick. I'm just gonna have a quick look. I'm just super excited about this. This is actually really freaking cool. Examples Lua. Let's have a look. I just want to have a look. Examples Lua. Not that I know how to use Lua like at all. Let's have a look. Okay, so my library Lua. Oh, okay. It doesn't really do a lot. Envoy.yaml. Connection manager. Oh, there's a bunch of inline code. Oh, neat. Interesting. Nice way of doing it. Not terrible that you can do that though. That is really. Oh my god, I'm so excited about this. Okay, so why this is cool? Why I get really excited? So this is cool because so when you want to do game server proxies, right? You can hard code a lot of stuff. Like as far as I understand it anyway, if you want to write a filter for Envoy, you have to write like C++ code and like all that kind of stuff. And it's not easy to extend very much in that way. Now, often for per game, you probably are going to have some very particular things about like what your packet looks like and like that kind of stuff. And so being able to set filters in something like Lua that's like really easy to drop in, like something like this, where like you can actually put it in line in your configuration values, which means that you can probably spit it in through your API as well, which is crazy cool. That means that like you can do very custom stuff for particular games. Especially if we say wanted to build an open source framework that managed this kind of stuff across like a whole bunch of machines and stuff, which is super cool. Like, very excited. Oh my god, this does cool stuff. This does like everything I want. I am just so excited. Okay, sweet. Let's all right. Let's pop up to the latest documentation. Now, I am running the latest. Now, I do know that there are dev versions of pre-built binaries, I think I want to say. Here we go. Perfect. Yes. All right, so let's grab that. There is a Envoy dev release binary. Okay, but I believe. Oh, it's not the binary. It's actually the Docker image. Oh, well, that makes life even easier. Okay, every master commit, we additionally create a set of development Docker images. That is so good. All right, I'm just gonna grab latest because that's just easier. Let's just grab that. Hopefully it's not too huge. Nah, looks really small. Wow, that's actually really nice. Let's just see if we have anything lying around. Nope, we don't. All right, so where are we? Envoy dev. Like, okay, so that's a bit bigger, but whatevs. Yeah, like it's 170 meg. Like, it's not a big image. It's just really nice. Jazdeep, you are not the only one here. No, it's okay. All right. So, where are we? Docker run Envoy dev latest version. Let's just see what we've got here. Version 1.3.0. Sweet. All right, so we have a thing. All right, I'm gonna go away from that. Here we go. So let's see if we can get this UDP thing running. I know there is a configuration reference, other protocols. Nope. Listeners. UDP listeners. UDP proxy. UDP proxy support should be considered alpha and not production ready. Yeah, whatevs. yeah, I got you. Whatevs. All right. This filter should be configured with the name Envoy filters UDP listener UDP proxy. Is there a UDP sandbox? Examples? No. Oh, so sad. I'm always tempted to like try and push one in. All right. Okay. The UDP proxy listener filters envoys operate as a non-transparent proxy. Okay, it means the upstream server will see the source and IP of the Envoy instance versus the client, which is exactly what we want. Right? I was talking about DDoS stuff. Like, we don't want to expose to the outside world what our game servers are. in any way, shape, or form, because like, I mean, even though they're probably behind a private network or whatever, right? Like ideally, like we just don't want to expose that information. So all datagrams flow from the client to Envoy and upstream back to Envoy and back to the client. Yes. Okay. Because UDP is not a connection-oriented protocol, Envoy must keep track of client sessions. Perfect, right? Such as the response diagrams from upstream server can be routed back to the correct client. Sheet. It does it through a bunch of stuff. Sessions last until the idle timeout is reached. Fantastic. So basically, until it stops getting a packet for a particular thing. All right, cool. Default specified, if not specified, is 1 minute. 1 minute is more than enough. So actually, I'm cool with that. That's actually great. Oh man, I'm loving this thing already. Envoy will fully utilize the configured load balancer for the configured upstream cluster when load balancing UDP. So we don't want load balancing. Okay. Let's just have a look. So this is interesting. When a new session is created, Envoy will associate the session with a upstream host selected using the configured load balancer. So for game servers, we're going to want to be very specific about which game server, which backend system is being connected to. Probably based on packet information. Probably have some sort of token, maybe at the end of the packet, some sort of like UUID or like something. Basically, we're probably actually going to send through. We'll give the player some sort of ID, like some sort of unique ID, maybe like a short hash or a short UUID of some kind. And when that comes through, we'll intercept that. Probably pick it off the end, and maybe even remove it as we go through, which is also super cool. And send it on its way. What we can do, which would be really sweet if you really want, and I don't know how this would work on like a console because there's interesting requirements there, but what would be really cool is like if you had Envoy on the client side that gets passed like, I don't know enough about packaging for consoles, but in theory, in my brain, the game client would have Envoy running next to it, which would do the like player ID, like it would know about its player ID, and it would know maybe some crypto stuff as well, which would be kind of cool. It goes through that, comes over to our Envoy proxy on the game server side, picks up the player ID, like, and we can just like decouple all that connection information, or like the crypto stuff, and probably some other things as well, away from what's actually happening in the game engine itself, which I think is super deep, super cool. That would make me very excited as well. Ooh, there's so much cool stuff here. Anyway, sounds like we're gonna have some challenges though with this load balancing stuff, but we will give it a shot. Okay. When upstream host becomes unhealthy due to active health checking, Envoy will attempt to create a new session to a healthy host when the next datagram is received. Also, for game servers, we're not really going to want that to happen either. You get a game server, and you are done. That is it. So we'll see. It sounds like we might need to put some feature requests in for Envoy maybe, or maybe write some of our own filtering type things maybe. I don't know. We're probably not going to get there today, but this at least gets us started nicely. How are we doing? All right, cool. Oh, that is exciting. Hold on, I need to respond to a message. I need to just message that. Cool, done. Important stuff. Alrighty. Cool. All right. Number sessions have been created per upstream and there's cluster maximum connection is 124. I don't think that's unreasonable. 1,000. Okay. I think that's where the number I heard before that Envoy could support 1,000 connections, but like, I guess it probably depends on what it is you're doing and how you do it, which is fine. But 1,000 connections per machine, fine. That's all fantastic. All right, the following is a simple configuration, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so this is our admin interface. We learned this before, so we don't have to worry about that. Beautiful, love it. Static resources, listeners. All right, so we have a listener, right? So we actually have to listen to a thing. Excellent, we need to know that. What are we gonna listen on? We're listening on protocol UDP, localhost, port value 1234. Okay, so this is basically gonna send traffic from 1234 to 1235. Yep. All right. Sweet. Listener filters. Okay. So this is the Envoy thing. We give it. Oh, this is just the name. Okay. Oh, that's interesting. Hold on. Wait. Can this? So if listener 0 is here. So listeners, does this have to be a name or can it just be anything? This is an interesting question. Okay, let's have a look. Not UDP proxy. Listeners. Let's go into here. Listener. So we have a listener. Name, address, and this is a listener filters. Listener filters. Here we go. Listener filters. Listener filter has an opportunity to manipulate and augment the connection metadata that is used in connection filter chain before any in filter chains. Man, getting my head around listener filters and filter chains is gonna like do my head in. I don't know how anyone else feels. That just yeah, that's I'm trying to still remember the difference between the two. So filter chains, filter chain, listener chains, and filter chain. So like, what's a filter chain again? Filter, listed network filters, supported filters. Okay, this is like, okay, so filter chains can see the traffic going through and like do stuff to it, or maybe not change it or that. And a listener filter is about rerouting and doing that kind of stuff. I think that's accurate. Okay, listener filter opportunity to manipulate and augment the connection metadata. Okay, so like where do things go to what where? Cool. Listener filter. All right. Whew. So we have a name, the name of the filter instantiate. So it does have to be a supported filter. Okay. Okay, so that is exactly what it is. All right, so listener filters, UDP listener filters, overview. There we go. Envoy filter UDP listener. Okay, so that's exactly what we're looking at, right? Like, all right, so it does have to be the name. This typed config thing is actually really interesting. Example configuration, right? A bunch of stats. Like it's sort of like this is also awesome for game server proxies just in general anyway, because right, like all this cool statistics that just come through, like, oh, so good. All right. So, yeah, like how much data has come through, number of bytes received, a number of bytes transmitted, where like this is just so useful. Like, oh my God, so useful. All the stuff that I don't need to write. Trying to understand this typed config thing again. So we have a UDP proxy. We have a typed config with a particular type of UDP proxy config. So a UDP proxy, I'm guessing it's in here. So this is the, okay, so we're using a bunch of proto configurations. So basically like, okay, so this is what typed config is. Okay, and then stat prefix, don't care, it's just statistics, what cluster connect to, and idle timeout. Okay, sweet, like this is what we were talking about before. Okay, so here we have like stat prefix is the service, I don't care, whatever, stat prefix. Service UDP is the cluster. Now I'm quite curious about this. Okay, so this is where it's going. Like, where are we sending it to? So here's our cluster, service UDP, connect timeout is 0.25 seconds. I think we could not worry about that. Clusters connect timeout. Interesting. Type is static, I'm guessing because it doesn't change. So actually I want, you know what? I want to see, yeah. Configuration register, clusters, overview, V2 for instance. I'm sure I can like dig into this a whole bunch, but connection, no, wait, where are we? Clusters. And I feel like I'm in the wrong spot. Cluster manager. Nope. V2 repair reference. Clusters. There we go. Cluster. Here we go. So we have a name. Excellent. I want to see connection timeout. Connection. Yes. See, it would be nice if that linked as well. Anyway, duration. The timeout for the new network connections to hosting the cluster. Oh, so like if this doesn't get delivered within like quarter of a second, like something's wrong and like bad. All right. Type equals cluster discovery type is used for resolving cluster. Static default refers to static discovery type for an explanation. Right. Okay. And then there's like all kinds of DNS shenanigans. Okay, so I think it sounds like I need to look at cluster this bit like load balancer type stuff as well, right? So their LB policy is round robin, which I don't want either. Where was that? Clusters. Here we go. Beautiful. LB type. No, what was it? That's right. But, I mean clusters. Here we go. Yeah. LB policy. Here we go. Cluster LB policy. Load balancer type. Round robin, which is not what we want. Least request. Ring hash. No. Random. Nope. Original. Refer to the original destination load balancing policy. No. Okay. Cluster provided. Type must be specified with configured cluster provides a specific load balancer. Consult the cluster configuration with this option. Huh, this looks interesting. I wonder if we could use this somehow. I don't know what this means. Just set this. So I wonder if we can provide it somehow. Use cluster provided. Interesting. All right, so we'll dig into that later. I think that sounds promising, I think, at the very least. Something that gives us control over where we're going to send stuff. Maybe it's something that's going to be outside of Envoy somehow. Not sure. Okay, and then we have a load assignment, a cluster name service UDP, endpoints, load balance, endpoint address. Okay, so this is like the static stuff. Where is it going to go? It's going to go on 35. All right, so this seems cool. Let's take this and like see if we can run it. So I have some UDP stuff actually. Let's do this. Actually, yeah, let's do this. Yeah, simple UDP. Yes, I have a simple UDP image. Here we go. Let's actually, yeah, I don't think I have this as an image right now. No. Make simple make. What make build? Right. So this is an Ogones thing that I have. Actually, I could have just pulled this down too. In fact, let's do that. I've changed my mind. Docker pull. Actually, let me bear with me one sec. Dev. I have this simple UDP echo image that we use for most of our testing inside of Ogones. I'm just gonna pull that down actually. Ogones controller. Here we go. UDP server. Perfect. Bam. Even easier. Yeah, and it's like tiny too. There we go. Beautiful. So I could, let's say docker run -rm gcr.io 0.7. Let's just do network equals host 2. Keep it real simple. So I can't remember what port it starts on. Come on, man. All right. It's looking for. That should work. If it doesn't, that's a problem. Could not. Oh, it's connecting to the wrong port. That should actually have changed. Oh, I know why. Oh, completely different issue, but very interesting. In which case then make build. Yeah, do your thing. It'll just be easier. Yeah, so we'll build that. So the job of this this little thing is that, and we'll see it in a second. wherein I send it a UDP packet and it'll like redirect it to it'll bounce it back to me. So this will take a little bit. I just need to run some, I just have it handy, so I'm just going to use it because it's just going to make life simple. And then what I want to do is try and take this YAML file and turn it into a thing I can use to just, I'm going to change the ports a little bit, I think, and we're going to turn it to our own image. Actually, no, I don't think we're going to turn it to our own image. We're going to mount it. We're going to pass it into just a running instance of Envoy, and we're going to run that on the network host. And in theory, everything should be fine. It seems reasonable, right? While that's running, let's just run that in the background. Gedit should be fine. We'll call it udp.yaml. Should be fine. All right, so let's. Where's our example here? Yeah, let's grab that. Spat that in there. 10 payment access, that's fine too. I'm not gonna worry about any, like, that's all fine. Let's just save that for now. Background, and yeah, that's fine. We're just gonna run that. That seems like an easy thing to do. Maybe we flip that around. All right, so there's that. Is that done yet? Yes. All right. So now if I docker run that, should actually be on the right port. Perfect. Okay, sweet. And that's up and running. Okay, and why is that cool? So 7654 is the port that it's listening on. So if I come in, I go -u, localhost, that, and I can send the word like test and friend. Oh my god. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is say round robin localhost. We're gonna send it to 7654. That's where it should go. And port value 1234. I'm okay with that too. That's fine. Right. So what I want to see happen in theory is I'm going to try and get Envoy to work with this file. And we can then send traffic to 1234 and see it come through 7654. And actually, just for interest's sake, you can see the data coming through here as well, right? We don't really care about all the health ping stuff at the bottom. That's all fine. Okay. So we'll want docker run network equals host. I'm just going to run it all in the host. Envoy dev latest. That's all fine. Okay. Just for giggles, what does that look like if I just run it, right? Like we had the thing before. Okay, so we get a bunch of stuff. All right, so we do get a lot of like logging, so we can see that all this stuff came through. All right, cool. So if I cancel it, we exiting. Beautiful. All right, so network is host. Let's mount -v password. Actually, I like this better for reasons. Password / udp.yaml to, I don't know, temp udp.yaml. And then now, configuration reference, is that what I want? Where's the command line reference? Let's have a look. Building installation. Maybe this one? Yeah, getting started. Yep, building installation. That's what I was looking at. Reference configurations. Nope. Operations administration. Maybe that's actually command line Fantastic. All right, dash C, path string. I like double dashes. So config path equals temp udp.yaml. Bam, hates me. Couldn't find match for argument. Dash C. What? You're a liar. All right, let's just do dash C then. Okay, so that worked. You are a liar. Config path, not a thing. Unimpressed. All right, so we get a bunch of stuff here. Okay, initializing epochs. There's links in here. Health checkers, filter network, all sorts of fancy stuff. UDP listeners. All right. Admin address, runtime layers. All right, so I guess if we come over here, I'm just gonna put some breaks in there so we can see it. So nc-u still we can connect and say like hello from local. All right, and that comes back, and if we pop over here, it says hello from local. All right. DNZL, it should be without. Yeah, why can't? But no, you should be able to put in equals. I should be able to put in equals after config path. Usually with double dashes, it usually works fine. Anyway, it's fine. It's fine. It works now. Whatevs. All right, let's pop back over here. So now if I go 1, 2, 3, 4, does this work? Oops. Yeah. Let's do that again. Does this work? This does not work. That did not work. Okay, why did that not work? Network host did not work. Okay, and we don't know why. Hilarious. All right, so how do we debug this? So this is on. Here's an interesting question. Here's an interesting question. I wonder if we need to make this 0, 0, 0 rather than, whoops. Just looking at, like, when we did our getting started, things worked with the HTTP, right? Socket address was 0, 0, 0. I'm wondering if that's the thing. And I'm wondering if it just won't accept. How do I tell this to hot reload? That would also be really cool. I mean, I can shut it down and start back up again, but it's the admin address. All right, try it now. Sod. All right, it's not coming through here either. All right. Port value 7654. That looks like it should be right. This is like a nightmare to debug. How do we debug this? Okay, this is where it gets fun. All right, so we've done that. That's definitely come through. I'm going to assume. Yep. Envoy listeners, admin address, static secrets, 1 cluster, 1 listener. We don't. I'm not even okay. All right. Socket address 1, 2, 3, 4. Like, how do I? All right. So, is there some kind of troubleshooting thing with this? I kind of hope this was just gonna work. All right. Let's have a look. Let's just have a look over here real quick. So I am running. Maybe is 1, 2, 3, 4 like a 2-level port? No, it should be fine actually. 7. Let's make it all slightly higher port just for giggles. 7650. All right. There's the admin interface. I thought is it even running what I think it's running? UDP to PDP. How do I know what it's running? Curl -v. Close, what is it? 9901/help. Oh, look at that. Slash listeners. Well, that's actually kind of cool. Oh, that's kind of cool. Envoy config. Oh, I just want to see what the... Yeah, I actually do want to see... Service UDP. Okay, so there is all that. Local origin success rate -1. Success rate -1. Max retries. Interesting. All right, so we can actually find out some neat things here. Oop. There's an Envoy admin. Ooh, what does that do? Oh, go away. Things we are learning. All right, come back over here. What's the port number again? 9901. Brad is Docker. Yeah, it's running in the Docker too. Yeah, so it's all running local. Yeah, it's a good question. Like passing the port on the Docker run. Okay, yeah, I'm passing net equals host. I'm doing everything. Try exec to the pod run and see command to the game server. Yeah, that could work too. I just want to see. Oh, this is cool that I can do this. Server info. Is that what I want? No, not that exciting. I just want to see. Reset states. Runtime modify runtime value. So fun. Reset all counters to 0. Exit the server. I just wonder actually if I can query or change the logging levels. What can we do here? No, I do not want to translate the page. So what we want? Here we go. Yeah, so I just want to make sure that it's actually doing what it says it should be. All right, so okay, so the config looks correct. So that's good. We're at cluster status. That's all fine. Health flex healthy. Cool. All right, so it's not dead. Try exec to the pod and run C command to the game server. That's actually a good idea. Brad? Yeah, that's actually a really good idea. Let's do that. I see what you're saying there. So what you're saying is docker ps. Let's docker exec no -it. This always never completes properly. Yeah, what's its name? Hungry. -it bin bash. Let's. Oh. Thank you. Do we have NC? Please tell me we have NC. Come on. Oops. Now I can never remember what the thing is that I need to install for NC. No. Yeah, netcat commands. I just need to netcat install command or compile finish. Oh, is it just netcat? Cat install netcat. Thank you. Nope. Search netcat. What's the silly package for netcat? Yeah, that's what I just did. I may need to update it. Apt update. install netcat. Now we're getting somewhere. Okay, yeah, that's a good idea, Brad. Let's see if we can hit, so nc-u localhost. What's the port again? 7654. 7654. Test. All right, so we can hit it from inside there. Yep. I am alive from inside the container. Okay, so that works. Now when I nc-u, actually, what am I running right now? 7650. I think that's right. Let's just refresh this for. Oops. Ah. Alright, so docker run. Yep, Envoy host. Boom. nc-u localhost. I just changed this to 7650. 7650. Blam. Hi. Nothing. All right. How do I even know if it's accepting connections? There we go. So if I'm in here, is there like a troubleshooting? Match new documents. Oh, that's yeah. Thanks. Thanks. All right. That's not what I want. 007654. I've definitely configured that right. 7654. Where are we? Is there something I'm missing here? Is our UDP proxy, UDP proxy config, stat prefix, don't care, connect timeout. Yeah, it should be pretty fast. I mean, it's local. Huh. Is there a way I can like logging? Like, can I do like a higher log level? Log level per component. Never developer should non-developer should never set this up on. Okay, what should run debug level? But like, how do I? Yeah, I still want to know how to do hot. Envoy can fully reload itself information without drawing connections. The following general architecture. Yeah, how do you do it? It's fine. Go back to the admin interface and pick out the log levels to see the options. I think it's curl minus post component debug. All right, Brad. Let's see what we got. Ah, I closed it. Localhost. Where are we? Admin interface is 9901. Logging. No, why would you translate this page? All right. Is there a UDP? There's a UDP. So we want the UDP to be like debug. That seems reasonable. Logging. Actually, we can have a look at the admin reference. No. Here, admin. Nope, doesn't like me. Okay. Ooh, I saw this previously. What happened? Had a really nice little HTTP reference for not configuration, operations administration. Here we go. That was a really nice. Here we go. Administration interface. There we go. Logging. There was just change logging levels across all loggers. Yeah, I don't want to do that. List loggers from the post request to the logger without a query parameter. Logger name equal desired level. Oh, okay, there we go. Close. It was close. It was change the logging. Oh, logger set the query parameters level. P equals debug. I don't think I can do that because it's a. Nope, post required. Okay, cool. No, don't translate it. Oh my god, what are you doing? Why? Why are you doing that? All right. What? It thinks it's Luxembourgers. Oh, okay, whatever. All right, let's try that. Curl minus x post. Let's put too many characters in. HTTP. Question mark UDP equals debug. I just found. Do that. UDP is now debug. All right, cool. And c.shu localhost 7650. Test. Nothing happens. Okay. Is it even listening on this port? How do I even tell? It's UDP. We have no way of knowing whether this thing is being accepted or not. Yeah, is it opening a port? Like, can we else off a port? Maybe that's a good question, right? That's a really good question, Brad. Oh, that doesn't help at all. Netstat, thank you. Netstats. -amp. Oh wow, okay. Competing things. Grep. Okay, we have a port. We have some ports that are open. I see people. We have various people. TUHNP. I don't even know where to begin with that. Okay. No, it's TUL. I can't spell. That's why. Okay, same thing. Okay, we have what looks to be open ports that are at least accepting something. They weren't kidding when they said this was alpha. Fun. All right, why is this not working? Try that netstat and map the port explicitly with Docker. The only thing with that is then how do I map the local port to this? The other thing I could look to do is to grab the binary. Trying to think of some other ideas how we could set this up, because maybe it is a Docker thing, right? Like in theory it should be fine. Is like set it up with a Docker compose type scenario. But it should be like that's a ridiculous thing, right? Like I look at this, I'm running this locally. I'm like this here is the local SDK for Gones itself. This is what's that? I don't even know what that is. Now I'm actually kind of curious. No. Alright, I always got excited. I was wondering. No, definitely hasn't gone through. Yeah, I'm on Linux though, Brad. So like it's it should be all native. Like I'm not sitting inside a VM or anything like that. It is localhost. Unless maybe this actually should be one. Where are we? I should just make that localhost. Just for argument's sake. Oh, doesn't like that. All right, so 127.0.0.1. Ah, rage. Brad, you're thinking if I run IP-C address, to grab like Docker 0 and grab like that. You're thinking like that IP 192.168.19.1. No, you're talking about this one here. Yes? No, even then. What are you suggesting, Brad? Which one? Before I throw my computer at the wall. 192, this one here. So okay, so let's test this then. So if we have that IP and we do like an NC -u, what's our port again? 7654. In theory, if I run test, no, see that doesn't. I can't even do that from here. Okay, all right, I'll try it. I'm down for trying anything at this point. So you're saying let's put this here. Oops, let me grab that. Just that one, which is actually .1 from memory. Yeah, 192.168.9.1. So you're saying that. And then when we docker run, let's go no network equals host, which I don't understand how that's going to work, but anyway. Whoops. I don't think this is going to work, but I am willing to try it. If it doesn't work, actually, I can't connect to it. So hold on, bear with me. If we do that, then what is it? Dash ports. Publish equals what is the stupid port? Yeah, I still need to map that port. Docker run reference, because I can't remember what it is. Network container. Yeah. I need to. If I want to expose a UDP port, how do I do that again? Network settings. That's fine too. Nope. Nope. Dash P. Thank you. I'm having one of those days where I can't remember anything. Dash P, and we are port 7650. 50 to 7650/UDP. All right, give this a shot just for argument's sake, and we'll see what happens. NC-U. Oops. Localhost 7650. Test. Okay, so it's not. Oh, interesting. Hold on, what's going on there? It's not just closing? No, it's not that. All right, it's not. That's not showing up there. Huh. But the interesting thing is that it's not just dropping me out, which is what it usually does. Usually it just disconnects because there's nothing to connect to. So maybe there is some issue with network equals host. All right. In which case, oh my god. In which case, maybe it's like a Docker thing. In which case, then we should probably set this up in a slightly different way. Let me kill this for a sec. And here comes my dog. Hi, dog. At some point, I need to eat some lunch as a thing. Try it without it. Sure. Oh, no, it's going to hate that because I don't... it's not going to run because it can't connect to this SDK. Oh my god, murder me now. Okay, yeah, I think raw binaries actually might be a way to go. So we can cheat. That's not a terrible idea. Which is, all right, so I actually don't care about this, but that's fine. We'll do this, and then we'll go exec, docker exec, yep. Docker exec, what's the name of the, docker ps. I can copy the, I spent a lot of time trying this with Nginx. Yeah, yeah, I think you're right. I think let's try and pull the binary out, because, and the nice thing is, because it was compiled on Ubuntu, it will probably run on my machine, so I don't have to like rebuild it or anything. Docker run, docker exists, adoring stuff, -it/bin bash ls. Yeah, where does that come from? Or I say, where is the binary? Let's just say PSA because that's probably easier. Envoy. All right. So where is Envoy? Oh, that doesn't help. All right. So let's look at the binary. Actually, let's look at here. Yeah, perfect. You aren't showing me. Oh, well, that's not useful, is it? You're not showing me what the file is. Why? Why are you doing this to me? Can you tell me what GitHub repo you are pointing at? No, you're just not telling me anything at all. Let's just see what Docker files we have. Docker file, Envoy image. That'll do the job. I'm sure it's probably in the same spot. User local bin. Oh, well, that just makes a lot of sense. ls user local bin. Perfect. All right. Oh. I'm silly. Make dir temp envoy. Boom, boom. It's also -v temp envoy to temp envoy. Oop. Sweet. Yes. Let's grab that brave yellow. All right. Got it. Okay, so you spent a lot of time working on it, and I got it working in a pretty good way, but it doesn't work for CSGO due to valve limitations. Oh, fun. All right. cd temp, cd envoy. Beautiful. Let's just cd temp envoy. cd envoy. All right, sweet. Touch true. Let's just double check that everything is here. Yeah, that's cool. All right. So copy user bin local. Oh, sorry, local bin. Here. So now, all right. Actually, let's. Is it all done by root? Yep. Ch. Sorry. Dot. Nice. Oh, sorry. Go away. Okay. Okay, so I own that directory. Just going to copy that. Copy Envoy to workspace. Learn Envoy. Okay. Sweet, I own that. chmod plus x Envoy. So, Envoy. Oops, my brain's not working. Envoy plus x. What am I doing? Version. Awesome. Okay. All right. So we're going to get rid of all the Docker stuff. Okay. I'm going to run this again. Oops. Nope. Dash network equals host. Cool. 7654. We can still connect to it. Let's just dash u 7654. Yay. Okay. So far, so good. Alright. Envoy -c udp.yaml. Alright. And just to confirm as well, like admin, here we go. I just want to do a config dump udp address 0. But actually now we could use localhost. Oh, we don't want that. That's bad. Address 127.0.0.1. In fact, we can do this on both. Okay. So let's kill that. Start it again. Make sure that's right. 127.0.0.1. I didn't misspell that for any particular reason. Nope. Okay, good. Okay, here goes nothing. Test. Still doesn't work. Aha! Ow. Just hurt myself a little. That's fine. Does not work. Simply, like, even locally, does not work. Just does not work. Just like, nope. So Brad says, I can imagine Envoy working well for mass world stuff, but can you see it adding any advantage to MPS game servers? Not being able to replicate state, not sure. Yes, 100%. There's a lot of really interesting use cases. Primarily, like basically access control and like information hiding is really, really useful. What is Dan saying here? For P2P scenarios, might be a good idea. Use a hosted proxy for all clients and use one of the clients. So I don't want this to be like an ecosystem. Basically, yeah. So what I would like to see this envisage as is like you give a client like here's 3 proxies out of maybe a set of 15. It knows about 3 proxies, but it has no idea what's happening in the back end. Like it doesn't know. It has no idea what the actual game server is behind the scenes. And it needs to pass a token through on the way through. And so you can do a bunch of crypto stuff out the front. You can do a lot of like authentication stuff on the way through that can be removed completely from the game server. And that also means that like if one of those proxies goes down, you could still be routing traffic, like round robining it between the 3 proxies that exist and still get a reasonable experience. And then if you have something that like regularly like checks back and says like, hey, have I got more proxies? Or if like one of them's getting DDoSed, you could shift that off and basically make it like a honeypot, just let it sit in the side, so to speak. There's so many cool things you can do with proxies. You can do just-in-time allocations of game servers, right? So if a game client needs a proxy, a port, like an IP import, like really early, you're just like, here's the proxy, I don't care. We know that you're going to get some sort of token on the way through and tell it where to actually send it, so then you can do it later on. There's lots of really cool stuff you can do here with proxies that I think are really exciting and really interesting. Especially like access control type stuff as well, right? Like, should this player have connection to any of the game servers behind the scenes in any way, shape, or form? I mentioned this before, that got me really excited too, but even just doing straight up rate limiting. Straight up limiting is really cool. Like, a game server has a tick rate that's pretty standard, right? So this is cool. So yeah, you said like you sticky route based on token. Yeah, you need to do this. Envoy out of the gate actually does session-based handling for you. At least in theory, it should do when it like works. I think what I'm gonna have to do is basically go back to the Envoy team and just be like, hey, what is up? Because I cannot get this to work. I'm struggling to work out. Yeah. So Envoy out of the box does route handling. The thing that it does though is it does right now the UDP does load balancing, so you can do like round robin between particular like static things or other dynamic type configurations. Whereas like we don't want it to be dynamic like that. We want to be able to specify it. There is something in here that looks promising as like a cluster provided information about where things should go. But once it's there, it's a sticky session actually. But I think that we'd want the filter to consistently be checking that packet to have the right token and where to send things. I think that would be like super important, and you wouldn't want to like just do it once. I think that would freak me out a little. Although maybe that's secure. I don't know. It's fine. Yeah, try turning it into debug. Actually, that's not a terrible idea. Let's do that. Before I give up, let's try turning everything to debug and see what happens. Is there a Envoy? Let's just see if there's like a help. Yeah, there we go. Concurrency log level. All right, let's just turn everything to debug. Debug. Woo, lots of stuff. All right. So actually, if we look now, not there, but Envoy admin. That's a good idea. Let's look at logging levels. Everything is debug. Okay, cool. All right, flushing stats. Beautiful. All right, let's just pop that down. All right, so let's try that. So this is running 7650 test. I don't think this port is open. Have I done something ridiculous? Port value 7650, listener 0. I genuinely don't think this port is open. I don't think it's receiving anything. I don't think there's anything that actually receives anything at this point. I'm okay. Try using 127. All right. I'm down with that. I can work with that. That's a legit idea. Oh my god. Oh my god. Dane. Oh my god. Oh. Oh, that's hilarious. Thank you. But it works. Look at that. It works. And actually, we can see the session coming through. Look at that. Look at that. Oh my god. Okay, so now you know what I need to try. I need to try if the Docker command also works. Right? Right? I think we need to do that. That is probably exactly the option, right? Where are we? Envoy. Let's just go back in time. Here we go. Yeah, that'll do. I don't need this stuff anymore. Here comes my dog. Oh. No, that doesn't work. Docker run. Oh no, sorry. My bad. My bad. Let's just do network equals host. Let's keep it simple. Network equals host. Yeah. Dane, you called it. Yeah, you called it. Look, that works. Oh my god. That's hilarious. Okay. That's fantastic. Okay, so we have the UDP thing working. That is super cool. That is really, really, really cool. I need to eat some lunch. I think is what's going on. But that is an amazing first step. So thank you very much, everyone who just Brad, Dane, everyone else who came along on the chat. The next magic trick is working out how to do some of the other stuff. Like how do we take traffic Dane, probably localhost could point to the IPv6. Yeah, you're right. It could point to the IPv6 address, or it's just like, yeah, or Envoy is like really strict about like this is what's coming through and this is what isn't on the socket address. And I think you're 100% correct. Yeah, I think you're 100% correct. That is a good lesson learned. Oh my god, but it works. Woot. That is oh my god, that's awesome. All right, cool. All right, so this part works, and it's probably a good spot to finish, at least for the moment. Yeah, I need to get some lunch. That's a good step. What I want to work on next, I think, is working out how do we tell Envoy to send stuff to a particular game server, and if that's actually even possible, and what we can do from there. That'll be the next magic trick, because we can't. Like, we shouldn't. Right now, we've got this set up so that it just points at a singular static IP import, which is not really useful. And not particularly useful anyway. And but oh my god, my brain's not working. But we want it to be able to be like, okay, we want the filter to be able to associate it with something. Brad, what's your horrible feeling before I go? You have a horrible feeling. I really want to know. It's only going to be super possible with the extent auth z server. What does that mean? What is ext auth z? External authorization. What does that mean? Extensions tend to be robust against untrusted. What is this thing? What does it do? I don't know. So I don't know about like untrusted. What does that mean by untrusted? Or what is auth z? Because in theory, the way I can see this working is that the game servers themselves will sit on a private network and won't be exposed to the public at all. So only the Envoy proxies will be exposed to the public network. So they don't really need to authenticate too much. You're going to have to do some magic to change the place that lets you modify the current request, basically as doing authentication. Yeah, so I feel like it's going to be some kind of network filter. Maybe we need to write our own filter. Maybe I need to be like, hey, Envoy team, how do you do this thing? That is the thing I want to explore next. Maybe it's not possible. Like I'm guessing it's probably not going to be possible out of the box. I wouldn't be shocked. Maybe we end up in this extending Envoy for custom use cases. So we'll have to dig into that. Yeah, add some more filters and magic. That's sort of what I'm thinking too. So we might have to dig into that. We'll see what's possible. It's gonna be fun. But yeah, I do need to get some lunch. It's 20 to 2. I might do some more digging, and then I might come back a little later, and we'll keep playing with it. But yeah, thank you so much for hanging out with me. This has been so much fun. I'll do the usual things, obviously. Subscribe to me here on Twitch. Follow me on YouTube at Mark S. Mandel. I'll tick the video, and that'll go up there. And follow me on Twitter at Neurotic, where I'll be posting stuff and what I'm doing and whatnot as well. But yeah, thanks so much. Oh my god, I can't believe we got it working just because I did put in 127.0.0.1 and instead use localhost. Now I'm feeling stupid, but that's fine. We all learn things along the way. All right, cool. I will see you all later. If I don't, have a happy holidays and end of year, etc., etc. Yeah, I'll catch you all later. Oh god, so exciting.